Hello and welcome to Nation Talks. It's a Metamorphs initiative, and I'm Preeti Prakash. Metamorphs is a non-profit, non-political, non-religious, and a voluntary organization working as a social catalyst. On December 8th last year, in a chopper crash, CDS Bipin Rawat and his wife, along with 11 more armed forces personnel, died. Remember the sole Air Force officer who survived the crash to succumb to his injuries, giving death a real fight for the next 7 days. It was Group Captain Varun Singh. He was accompanying the CDS as a liaison officer on the chopper. His death was declared by the IF, Indian Air Force, in a tweet on December 15th. Paying tributes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had tweeted then, Group Captain Varun Singh served the nation with pride, valor, and utmost professionalism. I'm extremely anguished by his passing. His rich service to the nation will never be forgotten. Group Captain Varun Singh was a Shaurya Chakra, which he was conferred upon for his act of exceptional gallantry for averting possible mid-air emergency after the Tejas light combat aircraft he was flying developed a major technical snag. Now it will be interesting to tell my audience about the Daredevil Act, which was performed by Group Captain Varun Singh. It will be an information for the viewers and for anyone who does not really know the story about it. It was on October 12th, 2020, when the LCA Tejas flight's cockpit pressurization failed mid-flight. However, during the descent, the flight control systems failed, leading the captain losing all control of the flight. The flight rapidly lost altitude. But despite the high pressure situation, Group Captain Varun Singh maintained composure and managed to regain control of the aircraft, showing exemplary flying skills. He not only did stay in his aircraft, but also saved it from crashing and conducted a safe landing. Group Captain Varun Singh landed the flight under calculated risk, avoiding a major disaster. And for this bravery, he was conferred Shaurya Chakra by the government. Group Captain Varun Singh was born in a family of soldiers. His father, KP Singh, retired as a colonel in the Indian Army, and his brother too serves in the Indian Navy. I have with me today Colonel KP Singh and Mrs. Uma Singh, proud parents of Group Captain Varun Singh. Welcome to both of you on Nation Talks.
Hi, thank you.
Episode or incident of Varun related to his childhood that you may like to share with us, something that describes the kind of child he was.
Was very submissive, very quiet, very obedient. I mean, it was amazing for me because as a mother, I just had to tell him maximum was twice. Once, yes, as a child he would forget or not do or whatever, overlook, but not beyond second. And third time was very rare. So that way he was very obedient. And there was nothing very, a big spark or something that he's going to do something big or, but he was very stable, I would say. Me being in this profession of teaching, I've seen many children go through, like I've been with them. Now when I look back in retrospect, I see that he was a very, very stable, quiet child. And such children probably, when I look into a general standards, they are the ones obedient, of course. If you follow what you are being told to do, I think such children do very well. Of course, and they gain a lot of confidence.
In fact, I would add on to what he had was self-discipline.
Yes, discipline.
That was self-discipline.
Obedience brings self-discipline.
That was, and that's where probably like what he writes in the letter. I mean, his childhood was like any, Aji's life. And for him, it was very unfortunate that he had not seen any big town. He was born, taken to a place which was highly a field area with 3 feet, 4 feet of snow, of Tregam, that is, beyond Srinagar or Baramulla. When he was 5 years, he comes to Madhopur, all of the places, to Pathankot, where there is nothing but for 3 buildings. Then from there, one goes to Panagarh or Gopalpur. So you can imagine that the only good place he could study was Chandimat. Prior to that, we were in Kandla Port, we were in 100% tentage, and we had hired accommodation because the unit was in 100% tentage. Gandhi Nagar is Gandhi Dham is not Gandhi Nagar. It's Kandla Port, next to Kandla. So there, Kendri Vidyalaya, there was no other school. He was student of Kendri Vidyalaya, and that's where it came to his mind when he was ninth. I mean, earlier also he used to talk about. There once he told his younger brother, seeing aircraft flying very high, he says, one day I'll fly higher than him. So, and that kept on, that flying thing kept on, I would say that becoming stronger and stronger.
He was obsessed with video games, especially aircrafts, cars. Speed would thrill him, that kind of, and he was very good at it. And that's when he declared one fine evening in the, like at home, that I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to fly aircraft. That's what he declared to me because my husband wasn't around. And of course, what he tells us about his brother later, and that's when he declared to me that is what I want to do. I said, fine, go ahead.
As he progressed, pilot, Air Force pilot, fighter pilot, no transport, no helicopter. And after that, the ultimate was deep strike fighter pilot. I mean, he had decided to that extent, and you must be knowing we have got aircraft recognition training in air defense regiments. He would identify all the aircraft.
As a child, as a student, like class 11, 12 student, he could identify aircraft.
He was in aircraft modeling and things like that. So, what he has written, you talked about that, and the Prime Minister has mentioned it in Mann Ki Baat. The only thing I think those who have given him input, they did a mistake that he was flying the chopper, which is not correct. He was a protocol officer. He was not flying the chopper.
He was himself an ace pilot, and maybe the situation could have been different, as they say. If he was flying, it would have been different.
You see, even the pilots who were flying were very trained, highly trained, the commanding officer of the unit itself. So, but at times, like we were discussing with senior officers, at times there are hallucinations, where it becomes very difficult to decide whether the instrument is right or you are right. So, I leave that point there. I mean, beyond that, I don't think it is okay for me to talk about. But as far as what he has written about mediocre student, that's a fact. The only thing is, a few things he has not mentioned. Even in NDA, he got best flying award. It is not that it started only like he has written joining his squad. No, India also, since he had passion, and he was Air Force cadet, so he got best in flying in India also. And he used to hate maths and physics,
which is ironical. But then he worked towards it.
But imagine a person like him, because of flying, he had to be friends with maths and physics. You couldn't fly without maths and physics. And with that, when he comes to course like UFI, of course, that was much later after joining the squad, the qualified flying instructors course. He bagged 2 out of 5 trophies. Best instructors trophy, best flyers trophy. And then he was instructor in Bidar, where they have got the Air Force Academy teaching their bios on Hawks. So he put in a lot of efforts. Wherever, I mean, his irrespective whether he anything related to flying or anything related to family. And I would say that a,
It's a
a
very good. Yes.
lot of contribution is there by his wife.
Yes. She really stood by him. I mean, in all respects. Like even when he was training for Gaganyaan, Gitanjali gave up so much of her time for him. Like he would be just not he would just not be there for her for anything for months together. And she had to handle everything single-handed. And that's where I think her biggest sacrifice for him went. Like had he not given him that space, that mental peace, he would not have achieved what he did. I recollect that Varun has been a fighter throughout. You will be amazed to know that he was only 6 months in the womb when he was born. And as far as I was concerned, I was oblivious of the dangers. I was very confident, but the doctors were very shaky. They weren't very sure whether this child will survive or not. After some time, he was in the incubator for almost a month. When he came out and he was handed over to me, he was a bag of bones, literally a bag of bones. And he weighed about 1.3 kgs or so. And he fought then also, and he survived. Doctors had almost given up. They would not put it into words. There's one big thing that I recollected about him much later. Initially, one is not, very conscious about it. One does not think. But then when I look back, I think he's been fighting all along. Until the end, he
He was the first team which was selected for Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan was supposed to be in 2021. It was supposed to be manned, at least one astronaut from ISRO circling the Earth for 7 days. This was the plan, and because of COVID, it has got delayed. And for that, they wanted to select especially a test pilot, experimental test pilot. So, experimental test pilot's initial selection was for 12 people. He was in those 12. He had personal trainer for that, for physical fitness. And literally, finally he could not make it because of very, I don't know what terminology to use for. The Russian team was supposed to train them. And they found, his jawbone density was lesser than what they require.
That is what kind of.
So, and our doctors, they felt that jawbone density comes in play when you are in the outer space for at least 6 months. But since the Russians had to train, they were supposed to be training, so he could not make. And he was quite, he had been feeling very bad, but at the same time, if you really see, that training had made a lot of difference.
Prepared him for this crash in some way or the other.
Of course, you and what media has got is from citation itself. But the actuals are they're a little more to it. Like he was, I think, around 33,000 feet when this pressurization failed, which they call it. It is not only pressurization, it is life support system. The correct terminology is life support system. And they have to go down. When they were going down, he lost control. Gained control at about 17,000. And then he tried to come for landing. And again at 10,000, everything stopped functioning but for the engine. And he was literally told by his ATC to bail out, and his answers were saying that he's over a population. And later on, when we asked, he Why did you eject? So he says, उस time तो दिमाग में नहीं आता है what is happening. You want to fight, and I loved my Tejas. I didn't want the project to go behind by 8 years. So probably that was in back of my mind that it was working, that my Tejas. So, and actually speaking, had the aircraft crashed, the Tejas project would have gone back by at least 5 years, minimum 5 years, because they would have come to know what was the fault. At least now they know that why it happened and it would be rectified.
In fact, twice he was asked to bail out, to eject, which he refused, as he pointed out, for two reasons. Of course, to save the aircraft and to get to know to the bottom of the problem, one. Second is he was over a very heavily populated area,
Mohan Nagar,
Mohan Nagar, and it is so heavily populated. Had the aircraft gone down, it would have crashed and caused a lot of casualty. And he said so. That was foremost in my head. Saving the aircraft was later, but then saving people, that was his statement to me. For me, he's more precious than anything else in the world, for that matter. And when I asked him, he said that was what was in his mind foremost, and he tried and he succeeded.
see, his G4 cell had gone so much that he could have been blinded in air itself.
Then also, correct.
But I think it was the training for Gaganyaan, where he had forced people. I have seen the video where he had asked the trainer that give me 8G, and she's a girl. I could hear the voice of that lady. She says, "आपने 7G तो कर लिया है, बहुत होता है, नहीं मुझे 8G ले जाओ, कम से कम जितने देखे कितने सेकंड कर." So 8G, after 10 seconds she stops. हो गया 8G आपका, and you have done 10 seconds. He says, "Oh, thank God, 8G हो गया." So of course one can see that the
determination that
determination and
training and power.
But yes. Like eyes were popping out. Those things were there.
So about the stages of patient, did he tell you before that or after what happened, and what impact did that episode leave on his family? And what happened after that?
He was affected. He was affected to some extent, in the sense, like what I as a mother felt. He was elated. He was happy that he could achieve something very big. He realized that, he felt so, whether it was or not, but for him it was a big achievement.
No, he once he reached the mess, they had a cake ready for second birthday,
and it was there, second rebirth.
Second rebirth, and Geetanjali was
shock.
But very proudly he called us up and told that first thing I want to tell you is the aircraft is safe, I'm safe. Now listen to me. So that's how means he felt it was achieved.
So Defense Minister Rajnath Singh was in touch with you while Varun was in hospital. What did he say? Any help that they had promised, the government promised?
See, when we had gone to hospital, I mean, I would say that he was very, very helpful, Defense Minister. I used to get you can say, dot at 9 o'clock in the morning about Varun's health from Defense Minister himself.
An update from him would come from his side first to us.
Before the Commandant could tell us.
He would get it from the Commandant, and then Mr. Rajnath Singh would pass it on to us. He spoke to my husband. He would speak every day in the morning, that is, and give an update on Varun's health.
And he had given instructions that anywhere in the world, wherever he can be saved, he should be taken.
Yes.
So those orders were there. Very helpful, very, very helpful. In fact, we are very grateful to government of Karnataka also, government of Tamil Nadu, everyone,
Somebody
government of
visited.
Madhya Pradesh, government of UP. I mean, they all have been very, very helpful. And we had a visit from governor of Telangana. Probably she is from the same area.
She came and visited us.
She came to see Varun. She is a doctor by profession. And we had visitors in hospitals like governors, or anyone, I mean, chief minister, home minister, everybody getting calls from everyone. That included, opposition party, or for that matter, I mean, the party politics was not there at all. Everyone was praying in fact, the whole country was.
So at any
Quite surprised.
were there
Very
times
touching. It was very touching. Yeah.
during his hospitalization, were there times when suddenly there would be news that yes, there was news that he's recovering, and then the doctors used to we get him back and things and all, and then again there were these going times going up and down, his reports going up and down, right?
That was in the later stages, last few days. Initially, he was very stable. That is what I recollect. And he had no injury that, as far as I remember, not a single bone was broken. In spite of getting thrown out of the aircraft, of the burning aircraft, not a single bone was fractured. He didn't have any injury, and it was only the burn. And initially, what the doctors told us, and we all hoped that he would survive, and he was doing well. But then I think it is expected that certain changes would come after a few days, fifth or the sixth day. That's when it is challenging. And that's when happened. The changes came very rapid. And
You see
greater details.
what happened, that despite having 95% burns, he was totally conscious.
Yes.
He told the guys who were rescuing him that this is my wife's mobile number. I'm Group Captain Varun Singh. Please call her and tell her that I'm absolutely fine.
He was that alert.
He was that alert, and he asked the doctor in the hospital, Wellington MH, that I can't see things. And what I'm told, that he had walked a few steps.
About 800 meters?
So that is,
speculation.
Speculation. I had visited the spot of the crash also later. But we were very clearly told that 95% burn, unlike what media is claiming, 40-45%, is losing all the fluid. So their priority was to do skin grafting so that the fluids don't flow, because he was being pumped so much of fluid. But at the same time, I was told that fourth day onwards, the inhalation of ATF and the fumes would start affecting the lungs. And that is going to be very dangerous. So it was the same thing happened. Fourth day later, fifth day, it started affecting, lungs stopped function totally. So they have got a machine where they bypass the lung, but it doesn't work much. It bypasses the heart, lung. Basically this was anticipated. With that kind of burn, in fact, it was hoping against. But till, सांस चल रही है तो
One is hopeful. One is
hopeful.
Yeah.
A couple of doctors who were very blunt, they told me, not in certain terms, they said, I wish I could make a dead man walk. So, I mean, it was very clear that
indication enough
indication.
for us to understand in mild words.
And now, seeing the situation, God knows that what could have been condition had he survived.
Yeah, in a way.
With a 95% burns, I don't know. I'm really not very sure. Even the doctors wouldn't have been very sure.
We got to understand that he had lost his eyes.
Obviously.
Because
you see, MI-17 has got one of the fuel tanks which is on top. So at the time of crash, as it is, a fireball comes down. That you can't avoid. And it had, the crash site I went, it had cut a lot of trees, literally chopping before it crashed. It crashed next to a house. I think the house was just saved.
In fact, it was a mandir, a temple.
It was not a mandir actually. It looks like a mandir.
Okay.
It is somebody's house who has painted from outside like a, one side has been painted like a mandir. It's not a mandir.
And I would like to take this platform as a chance to thank everybody who has prayed, even thought about his well-being. I am very grateful to each and everyone, and I thank them from my heart. I thank everyone.
Thank you so much, Colonel Singh and Mrs. Singh, for talking to us. It's been a privilege to have you on our show. Viewers, don't forget sharing, liking, subscribing, and pressing the bell icon. For more such events, do write to us in our comment section if you want to see some more of such interactions. Till then, stay
Sure.
and stay happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you very much.